Hi comrades, my name is Maral and I'm part of Socialist Fightback, the Canadian section of the International Marxist Tendency. I'm very excited to be addressing this conference today of Liberdade e Luta in Brazil. I was asked to explain a few things about the political situation here in Canada. Now, Brazil is known for its history of militant movements and class struggle, while Canada is known for just being this boring imperialist country where nothing ever really happens. Canada is not known for revolution or class struggle, but in the recent period, there have been serious developments in Canada. The world crisis of capitalism and the revolutionary movements that we're seeing around the world have had an effect on consciousness here. Also, the economic crisis triggered by the pandemic has caused Canadian capitalism to enter its deepest crisis ever. Canadian capitalism is mortally wounded right now, and our leader, our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, has had to put capitalism on life support. During the pandemic, our government has given out over $700 billion in handouts, and most of that money has gone to big capitalists or to landlords in order to keep capitalism afloat. Meanwhile, we have tent cities popping up all over the country as homelessness rises. We have unprecedented record levels of unemployment, and we also have the continued brutal oppression of racial minorities in Canada. Not to mention, thousands of workers have died across the country from this pandemic, and our governments and the capitalists are to blame for this. In many provinces, even while cases were in the thousands, we saw provincial governments taking a wealth before health approach and opening up the economy further to boost the profits of the capitalists. This is all having its effect on consciousness. We have never seen as much interest in our ideas as we have in the last few months. Just in the last 2 weeks, over 1,000 young people signed up to get involved with Socialist Fightback. We have been rapidly expanding all across the country, but in some parts of the country, the situation is more advanced than in others. In Alberta, which is traditionally the most conservative province in Canada, we are seeing an almost revolutionary situation begin to unfold. In Alberta, they have a right-wing premier named Jason Kenney, who is a Trump or Bolsonaro type figure. And during the pandemic, he was attacking workers. He was even attacking nurses, making cuts to hospitals in the middle of the pandemic. And this has all led to a lot of frustration in the province. This is causing a massive social explosion being built in the trade unions. And there are calls for a general strike to overthrow the government in Alberta. There has never been so much interest in our ideas in Alberta or anywhere else across the country. And we are the only ones building the revolutionary leadership, building the revolutionary organization, and hundreds of people are getting involved in Socialist Fightback. Now, Canada is a very big country, but we are expanding everywhere. We have chapters on the West Coast, on the East Coast, across the prairies, up in the North. We are the biggest left group in Canada, and we are also the biggest left group in the 4 most important cities in the country. That all being said, our organization is only big by Canadian standards, and we are still quite small. We are not in a position to lead the revolution just yet, but in this political context where 35% of Canadians support moving away from capitalism, the conditions exist for us to build an organization of thousands that can lead a revolution in Canada. The Canadian Revolution is not here yet. We are just seeing the beginnings of potential mass movements. The situation in Canada is not as exciting as what we're seeing in Brazil, with a movement around the demand for a Bolsonaro, and where our comrades are playing a leading role in various struggles. But we can confidently say that the tide is turning in Canada, and the future of the Canadian youth is the same as the future of the youth of Brazil, of Colombia, of Chile. And the comrades in Canada are following your inspiring work in Brazil as we work side by side to build to the international socialist revolution.